Are you feeling crushed by the weight of worry today? Is the burden of anxiety so heavy that it feels like it's suffocating you? Maybe it's a job that's on the line, a relationship that's falling apart, or the uncertainty about your future that keeps you up at night. Whatever it is, you don't have to carry it alone. Psalm 55 is here for you. This psalm is a cry of desperation, written by King David when his heart was overwhelmed. In Psalm 55 verse 2, he pours out his heart to God. "Hear my prayer, O God, do not hide yourself from my supplication." He was feeling betrayed, surrounded, and utterly lost. He felt like God was silent. But he knew, even in his desperation, that the answer was to keep praying. If you're struggling today, know that you're not alone in this battle. Just like David, you can bring your worry and fear before God. He sees you. Let's pray through this psalm together and release our burdens. You know, sometimes life just feels like it's all piling up at once, doesn't it? Like you can't breathe, you can't think straight, and every moment feels like it could be your breaking point. David knew that feeling all too well. When he wrote Psalm 55, he was in the middle of a storm. Betrayed by someone he trusted, hunted by his enemies, and totally consumed by worry. In Psalm 55 verse 4, David says, "My heart is severely pained within me, and the terrors of death have fallen upon me." He didn't hold back. He was straight up raw with God about his fear, his pain, and his heartache. There's something so powerful about being completely open with God. You see, when you carry your worries, your fears, your anxieties, you're holding on to them, trying to fix them on your own. But God is calling us to release them. And just like David did, we need to cry out to him, no matter how desperate we feel. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, to admit that you're struggling. Let those words of David be your words today. My heart is severely pained. He felt the weight of it all. But here's the thing. He didn't stay there. He knew that God was listening, even when it felt like the heavens were silent. You can know that too. Even now, in your most desperate moment, God hears you. And together, let's give those worries to him. When you're trapped in the dark, it can feel like there's no way out, right? Like the walls are closing in, and every corner you turn only reveals more trouble. David knew that pain. He was surrounded by enemies, betrayed by his closest friend, and it seemed like there was no escape. In Psalm 55 verse 6, David says, "Oh, that I had wings like a dove, I would fly away and be at rest." Have you ever felt like that? Just wanting to escape it all? To disappear into some place where the weight of your worries can't reach you? The anguish was so deep for David that he longed to be anywhere but where he was. He was pleading for peace, for release, and he was desperate to find a way out of his suffering. It's so easy to get lost in the chaos of life, and even harder when we feel like no one understands the depth of our pain. But listen to this. David, despite his raw emotions, didn't turn away from God. Even in his darkest, most desperate moments, he still reached out, still sought God's presence. You can do the same. You might be crying out for peace, for relief, or even just for a moment where you can breathe again. But let me remind you, God doesn't turn away from you in these moments. David poured out his heart, and so can you. You can't escape the pain right now, but you can bring it to God, knowing He hears your cries. Don't hold back. God wants you to be honest with Him about your struggles. He wants to take that weight off your shoulders. Like David, you don't have to carry this burden alone. Reach out, even in your darkest hour, and find peace in his presence. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal so deeply that it shook you to your core? David knew that pain well. His heart wasn't just heavy with the weight of his enemies, it was broken by the ones who were supposed to be his allies. Psalm 55 verse 12 captures this perfectly. For it is not an enemy who reproaches me, then I could bear it, nor is it one who hates me who has exalted himself against me, then I could hide from him. He wasn't talking about just any enemy. David was hurt by someone he trusted, someone who once walked beside him. This wasn't some random person on the street. This was a close friend, one who shared his meals, his laughter, and his moments of joy. And it wasn't just the betrayal that weighed David down, it was the crushing loneliness that came with it. The feeling that the people who were supposed to stand with you, to help carry your burden, had turned their backs on you. There's a kind of pain in that, a hollow emptiness that sits in your chest and threatens to suffocate you. Maybe you felt that too. People you trusted, who you thought would be there for you, have let you down. The thing is, David didn't shy away from this pain. He faced it head on. He acknowledged how much it hurt, how much it stung. But even in that moment of deep sorrow, he didn't let that betrayal be the end of the story. He didn't give up on God, even when the silence felt deafening. What about you? Have you been holding on to that hurt, the betrayal that you're too scared to let go of? Maybe you felt abandoned. Maybe you're praying and not seeing the answers you need. But listen to me, God hears you. David's prayer in Psalm 55 wasn't just a cry into the air. It was an invitation for God to act on his behalf. In your own suffering, don't let the silence make you think God isn't listening. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, he is there, walking with you through it all. Your pain doesn't go unnoticed. And just as David cried out, "But I will call upon God and the Lord shall save me," Psalm 55:16, so can you. Call upon God in your pain, in your confusion, in your betrayal. He will answer you. Hold on to that hope. Ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of problems, like every direction you turn just adds more weight to your shoulders? David certainly did. In Psalm 55 verse 3 he says, "Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked, for they bring down trouble upon me, and in wrath they hate me." For David, it wasn't just a single enemy or even a handful of people. It was a tidal wave of trouble. Everywhere he turned, it seemed like someone was plotting against him. He was outnumbered, outmatched, and utterly overwhelmed by the circumstances surrounding him. And what did he do? He cried out to God. We've all been there. Life doesn't come with a manual, and sometimes the weight of everything just crashes down. Whether it's the stress of trying to make ends meet, the fear of the unknown future, or the constant pressure of keeping up appearances, it can all feel like too much. You might look around and wonder, how did I get here? And how am I supposed to handle all of this? David was in a similar place. He felt surrounded on all sides, pressed from every angle. His enemies weren't just attacking him physically, they were attacking his heart, his peace, and his spirit. The stress wasn't just external, it was internal too. Sometimes the things that weigh us down aren't even things we can control. The constant worry, the fear of what's coming next, and the unrelenting questions about our futures. These things can trap us too. But here's the beautiful thing. God never leaves you alone in the middle of your storm. Just as David called out, we can too. Psalm 55 verse 22 tells us, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and he shall sustain you." He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. God promises that He will carry your burdens. You don't have to hold it all yourself. He's ready to take that weight off your shoulders, if you'll just give it to Him. When everything seems out of control, it's easy to want to fix it all yourself, right? The desire to just take charge, even when you're not sure what the right steps are, can be overwhelming. But David, in his despair, shows us something so vital in Psalm 55. He says in verse 17, "Evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and He shall hear my voice." David didn't just pray once and expect everything to change. He didn't expect an instant fix, an immediate answer. He chose to trust that God was listening, day and night, through every moment of his struggle. It's the act of praying persistently, not giving up, even when the answer doesn't come in the way you expect. Trusting God with your worries doesn't always mean that everything will be resolved immediately. Sometimes it means continuing to cry out, day after day, trusting that He hears every prayer. It's a choice, one we have to make over and over again. David could have let his circumstances consume him. He could have allowed his fears and his pain to drive him further into despair. But instead, he made the decision to keep bringing it to God, even when it felt like nothing was changing. The beauty is that each time he cried out, God was there. And just as He was there for David, He is there for you. So today, even if you're feeling like God is taking too long to answer, don't stop praying. Don't stop trusting. It's not easy, but it's in those persistent cries where God begins to move in ways we can't always see. Keep praying, keep trusting, and know that God's timing is perfect, even if it feels like the world is spinning out of control. He's right there with you in the storm. It's a tough pill to swallow, but sometimes the hardest part of prayer isn't asking for help. It's surrendering, letting go of control. David, in his raw honesty, gets to this point in Psalm 55, verse 19, when he says, "God will hear and afflict them, even He who abides from of old." In the middle of his prayer, David releases the situation to God. He stops trying to fix everything himself and trusts that God will handle it, even though the situation is beyond his control. And that's the point we often struggle with, right? Surrendering isn't easy. We like to have our hands on the wheel to try and steer the ship through the storm. But here's the thing. When we try to control everything, we only make ourselves more anxious. The pressure to solve it all ourselves can be suffocating. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that God is the one who can truly change things. It means giving your burden to Him and trusting that He's got it, even when you can't see how things will turn out. David's life wasn't perfect after this prayer, but he found peace in letting God take the lead. Are you ready to release your worries today? Are you ready to let go of the need to fix it all yourself and just place your trust in God's hands? It's a step of faith, and it's the only way to truly experience peace. You don't have to carry it all. God is big enough to handle whatever is weighing you down, big or small, seen or unseen. You can rest in the fact that He will fight your battles, even when it seems like no one else will. You know, there's something powerful about remembering who God is in the midst of our pain. It's so easy to forget when we're in the middle of a crisis, but David knew. He never forgot. In Psalm 55, verse 20, he says, "He has put forth His hands against those who were at peace with Him. He has broken His covenant." The betrayal and hurt David felt weren't just from enemies. They were from someone who once shared peace with him. But even in the face of such a deep wound, David didn't lose sight of God's faithfulness. In fact, he's reminding himself that no matter how chaotic the situation was, God would always remain true to his promises. It's easy to question God's faithfulness when we're in pain. It's easy to wonder, why would God let this happen to me? But here's the thing, God is faithful, even when the world feels unfaithful. God keeps his promises, even when our circumstances are shaking. David was deeply hurt by someone he trusted, but he still knew that God would be faithful to take care of him. And just like David, we can hold on to that same truth. No matter what you're facing, God is still God. He's still your protector, your provider, and your peace. His faithfulness is not determined by your circumstances. It's rooted in his unchanging nature. When you're overwhelmed, when you feel betrayed, remember that God sees you. He's not just standing by idly, he's actively working behind the scenes. The same God who carried David through his battles will carry you through yours. Trust in his faithfulness, even when things look uncertain. God is a promise keeper, and he will never leave you or forsake you. Even in your darkest hour, he's still with you, ready to turn your mourning into joy. Sometimes, when everything feels like it's spiraling out of control, it's easy to forget that we have a protector. In Psalm 55, verse 16, David boldly declares, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me." David knew he couldn't face everything on his own. He was desperate for God's protection, his deliverance, his intervention, and he wasn't afraid to claim it. He wasn't passive in his prayer. He declared it with confidence. He knew that the God who had walked with him through countless battles was the same God who would rescue him in this one. When you're overwhelmed, when the chaos seems like it might swallow you whole, it's easy to feel vulnerable, like you're standing alone in the middle of a storm with no shelter. But here's the thing, God has promised to protect you. David's confidence in God's protection wasn't because his circumstances were easy, but because he knew who God was. And the same goes for you. The storms of life may rage, but you are never alone. God is your refuge, your shield. Psalm 55 verse 22 reminds us, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and he shall sustain you." God's protection doesn't mean the storm will stop immediately, but it means he'll be with you through every single moment of it. He'll be your peace in the middle of the chaos. It's time to stop carrying the weight on your own. Stop trying to be the hero of your own story. Surrender your fears, your anxieties, and your pain to God, knowing that he will protect you from the things you can't control. His arms are open, ready to take the burden and carry it for you. Trust in his protection today, even if the storm hasn't passed yet. He's got you. You know, fear has this way of taking root and growing inside us, especially when we feel cornered. It can turn every thought into a nightmare, and suddenly, everything seems like a threat. David was no stranger to this fear. In Psalm 55, verse 18, he writes, "He has redeemed my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many against me." David knew what it was like to feel like the whole world was against him. He knew what it was like to be gripped by fear. But even in that place of overwhelming anxiety, David declared that God had redeemed his soul in peace. It wasn't that the battle had stopped, it was that God had given him peace in the middle of it. Fear will tell you that you can't make it through. It will whisper in your ear that the battle is too big, too impossible to win. But the truth is, God doesn't just want to rescue you from the battle, he wants to give you peace, in the middle of it. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding. And here's the key. You can't hold on to fear and peace at the same time. One has to go. So, what are you going to choose today? The peace that only God can give, or the fear that's been eating away at your heart? David made a choice. He didn't allow fear to have the final word. He chose to trust in God's ability to bring peace to his soul, even when the battle was raging all around him. You don't have to let fear control you. You don't have to let it dictate your actions or your emotions. God is offering you peace right now. Will you take it? Let go of that fear and surrender it to Him. You don't have to fight this battle alone, and you don't have to live in fear. God is with you, and His peace is ready to surround you even in the most impossible situations. At some point, many of us carry the weight of resentment, bitterness, and unforgiveness. It's like a chain that shackles us to our pain, locking us in a cycle of anger and hurt. And David, in the midst of his own betrayal and suffering, had to confront this reality. In Psalm 55, verse 21, he says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords." David's experience of betrayal wasn't just from people outside of his circle. It came from someone who wore a mask, who pretended to be his friend while plotting against him. And that stings deeper, doesn't it? When the ones you love turn on you, when they hurt you in ways you didn't see coming. But what does David do with this hurt? Does he seek revenge? Does he hold on to bitterness, letting it poison his heart? No. Instead, he calls on God for justice and protection, leaving the rest in his hands. This is the key. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about releasing yourself from the weight of anger. Holding on to unforgiveness doesn't hurt the person who wronged you. It only chains you to your past. And God is calling you to release that burden. Just as David found comfort in knowing God would handle his enemies, you can find freedom in trusting God with your hurt. Forgiveness doesn't mean what was done to you was okay. It doesn't mean you forget. It means you release the grip that bitterness has on your soul. And in that release, you experience the peace and healing that only God can bring. Forgiving doesn't excuse the wrong done to you. It frees you from the emotional prison that keeps you stuck. God wants to heal your heart, but that healing starts with letting go of the anger and hurt that you've been holding on to. It's not easy. In fact, it may feel impossible. But remember, God is bigger than your pain. He can help you release what's been weighing you down and give you the freedom you long for. Just like David, trust God with your pain. Let Him handle the justice and let yourself be free. You know how sometimes you pray and it feels like nothing happens? You're begging, crying out, and yet it feels like your words are just echoing back at you. David understood this frustration. He didn't just pray once and move on. In Psalm 55, verse 17, he said, "Evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and He shall hear my voice." Do you hear that? David didn't just pray once or twice. He made a daily commitment to bring his cries before God, morning, noon, and night. There was no limit to his persistence. His faith wasn't shaken because the answer didn't come immediately. He kept bringing it to God because he trusted that God was listening, even when he didn't feel it. That kind of persistent prayer is powerful. It's easy to get discouraged when we don't see quick results. It's easy to think, maybe God doesn't hear me. Maybe He doesn't care. But the truth is, God is listening. And even if the answer doesn't come on your timeline, that doesn't mean he's forgotten about you. David's example reminds us to keep going, to keep praying, even when things feel hopeless. Prayer isn't just about asking for what we want. It's about building a relationship with God. It's about expressing our heart to Him, sharing our pain, our desires, our frustrations. And over time, God uses that process to strengthen our faith. If you feel like you've been praying and nothing's changing, don't stop now. Don't let the silence make you doubt God's presence. Keep crying out. Your persistence matters, not because it changes God's will, but because it deepens your trust in His timing and His ability to answer. God sees your heart, and He hears every prayer. Keep praying and know that He's working, even when you can't see it. Just like David, trust that your cries will be heard, and hold on to the hope that He will answer in His perfect way and time. It's crazy how much peace can come from letting go of something you've been holding on to for so long. It doesn't always make sense, right? But in Psalm 55, verse 22, David tells us something that sounds almost too good to be true. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. Think about that for a second. David is telling us to throw our burdens onto God, and in return, He will sustain us. Not just take the weight off for a second, but sustain us through it. It's not just a temporary relief. It's a peace that holds up under pressure. A peace that doesn't collapse when the weight of the world comes crashing down. But here's the catch. You have to actually cast your burden. God can't take what you're not willing to release. If you're still holding on to your worries, your fears, your anxieties, it's like standing at the edge of a river, holding a heavy stone, but refusing to drop it in. The peace comes when we truly let go, when we say, God, this is too much for me. I can't carry it anymore. I trust you with it. The promise is that He will sustain you. He will give you strength to endure, to keep going, even when everything around you is falling apart. You don't have to carry it alone. Whatever burden you're carrying right now, whether it's a problem you can't solve, a fear you can't shake, or a wound you can't heal on your own, God is offering to carry it for you. He's offering you peace in exchange for your pain. And while that doesn't mean your problems will vanish overnight, it does mean you don't have to face them in your own strength. Let God carry your load. Let Him sustain you. Surrender those burdens and experience the peace He promises. It's a peace that doesn't make sense to the world, but it's the peace that passes all understanding. It's the kind of peace that holds you up when you have nothing left to give. It's easy to forget, when we're weighed down by worries and anxiety, that we're not just dealing with the physical and emotional, but there's a very real spiritual battle happening too. In Psalm 55, David isn't just struggling with the people around him, he's wrestling with forces much greater than that. In verse 19, he acknowledges, God will hear and afflict them, even He who abides from of old. There's a recognition in David's words that his battle isn't only against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces that are at work, pulling him into fear and despair. This isn't just about human enemies. It's about the invisible forces that seek to destroy our peace, to steal our joy, and to break us down. It's important to remember that while we face real-world challenges, we are also engaged in spiritual warfare. The enemy will use anything he can to weaken your faith, whether it's the betrayal of a close friend, the weight of overwhelming worries, or the lies that tell you you're not good enough. And here's the thing. Satan's goal is to keep you stuck in that cycle of fear and anxiety, to keep you from seeing the hope and peace that God has already given you. But David, in the middle of his battle, chose to call on God, to cry out for help. And that's the key. When we face spiritual battles, we don't have to fight them alone. God has already equipped us with everything we need to stand firm. Ephesians 6, verse 11 tells us to put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Prayer is one of the most powerful weapons in our spiritual arsenal. So when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, don't forget to pray, to call on God to fight for you. The battle is real, but so is God's power to overcome it. You're not alone in this fight. Call out to Him and trust that He is already at work, bringing victory over the spiritual forces that seek to destroy your peace. Isn't it frustrating when things don't happen when we want them to? We pray, we hope, we wait, but it feels like God's timing is always just a little bit off from ours. David, in his desperate cries, was no stranger to this feeling. Psalm 55, verse 23 speaks directly to the reality of waiting on God's timing. But you, O God, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men shall not live out half their days. David knew that, even though the enemy seemed to be winning for a time, God's justice would come at the right moment. His timing wasn't David's timing, but it was always perfect. This is where it gets tough. When you're waiting, it's easy to feel like God has forgotten about you, or worse, that He's not paying attention. But God's timing is never wrong. It's easy to forget that while we're sitting in the storm, God is already seeing the whole picture. He knows the perfect time to move, the perfect moment to deliver, the right time to show up in your life in a way that will bring Him the most glory and you the most peace. Remember, David didn't get immediate answers to his cries. He didn't get an instant fix, but he did get assurance that God was hearing him, that God was moving even when it felt like nothing was happening. You might be in a season of waiting right now, feeling like God's promises are far off, but I encourage you today to trust in His timing. You may not see the breakthrough right away, but He is working, even in the silence. The waiting isn't wasted. It's shaping your faith, building your trust in the one who knows the perfect moment to act. Just like David, you can find comfort in knowing that God will bring justice, peace, and deliverance at the exact right time. Trust Him with the timing, even when it's hard to wait. Sometimes when everything around us seems to be falling apart, we forget that we have a foundation that will never shake. David knew that his strength didn't come from himself, and it didn't come from his circumstances. It came from God. In Psalm 55, verse 16, he declares, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me." David didn't rely on his own wisdom or strength to get him through the storm. He knew that the one constant in his life, the one thing that would never fail him, was God's faithfulness. When everything else seems uncertain, when relationships falter, when finances dwindle, when health fails, God remains faithful. His promises never change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And this is the key. Even when you feel weak, even when you feel like you're barely holding on, God's strength is available to you. Psalm 55 reminds us that we can call out to God and He will be our refuge. He is our rock, our fortress, and our deliverer. His faithfulness is the strength you need to keep moving forward, to keep trusting even when it feels impossible. So today, take a moment to reflect on God's faithfulness in your life. Has He not carried you through past struggles? Has He not answered prayers, provided in unexpected ways, and kept you when you couldn't keep yourself? That same God is here now, ready to strengthen you in your weakness, ready to lift you when you can't stand on your own. You don't have to face life's challenges in your own power. God's strength is more than enough. Let His faithfulness be the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. You can rely on Him no matter what you're facing. There's something so profound about peace. The world talks about peace as if it's just the absence of conflict or trouble. But the peace that God offers is far deeper than that. It's a peace that doesn't make sense to the world. It's a peace that can exist even in the middle of chaos. David, in the middle of his personal storm, found that peace. In Psalm 55, verse 22, he says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved." David was in the midst of betrayal, of intense personal turmoil, yet he could still declare that God would give him peace, sustaining peace. What kind of peace is that? It's the kind that doesn't depend on your circumstances. It's the kind that doesn't fade when trouble comes knocking. It's the kind of peace that holds you steady when everything else is falling apart. The kind that only comes from knowing that God is with you, that He's carrying you through. The world might offer temporary fixes, distractions, coping mechanisms, temporary comfort, but God's peace isn't temporary. It's not fleeting. It's constant, deep, and unshakable. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, let me remind you that you can experience this peace. It's not about everything going right. It's about trusting in the One who is with you through every storm, who promises to give you peace even in the darkest times. When the weight of the world feels like it's too much to bear, remember that God is offering to take that burden off your shoulders and give you a peace that will hold you steady, no matter what. You don't have to fight for peace. You can receive it, trust it, and rest in it. In moments of deep anxiety and despair, it's easy to wonder, will this ever end? Will I ever be free from this worry, this fear, this pain? David, though, shows us that we don't have to stay stuck in those questions. In Psalm 55, verse 16, David says, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me." Notice how confident he is. He doesn't say, maybe God will save me, or if God feels like it, He'll rescue me. No, David is certain. He knows that God will deliver him. That assurance isn't based on David's circumstances. It's based on God's character. When we face overwhelming challenges, we often forget that deliverance is not just a future promise, it's a present reality. God is at work right now, even when you can't see it. He's already moving in the background, orchestrating things on your behalf, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Just like David, we can trust that God will come through for us. That doesn't mean the path will always be easy or quick, but it does mean that God will never leave us alone in the struggle. He will fight for us, and He will make a way. You don't have to keep carrying that burden on your own. Whatever you're facing, whether it's fear, illness, financial stress, or broken relationships, God is already working on your behalf. He will deliver you in His perfect time, in the way that's best for you. The pain won't last forever. God is faithful to rescue and restore, and He has promised to never leave you in your distress. Call on Him, just as David did, and trust that your deliverance is already in motion. Hold on to that hope, and rest in the assurance that God's deliverance is certain. There's something incredibly powerful about knowing that God is with you in the thick of it all. When everything around you feels unstable, when you're not sure how you'll make it through another day, God's presence is a game changer. David, in Psalm 55, experienced the kind of distress that many of us can relate to. He was betrayed, surrounded by enemies, and utterly broken. But in the midst of all that, he still found strength in God's presence. In Psalm 55, verse 18, he says, "He has redeemed my soul in peace from the battle that was against me." Even when everything around him was falling apart, David knew that God's presence would be the anchor that would hold him steady. He knew that no matter what storm he was facing, God was with him. And here's the beauty of it. That same presence is available to you right now. You don't have to wait until the storm is over to feel God's peace. You don't have to wait until your problems are solved to experience His comfort. God is with you in the battle, in the pain, and in the waiting. His presence is enough to sustain you. You might not always feel it, especially when things are tough. But God's presence is not based on your feelings. It's based on His promise. He has promised to never leave you, to never forsake you. So take a deep breath and know that you're not walking through this alone. God is right there beside you, offering you the peace, strength, and comfort you need to make it through. Just as He was with David in his darkest moments, He is with you now. Take heart in that truth, and let His presence give you the strength to keep going, even when it feels impossible. As we wrap up today, remember that Psalm 55 isn't just some ancient prayer. It's a living, breathing message for you and me right now. David faced betrayal, confusion, fear, and pain, and yet he knew that the only place he could find true peace was in the presence of God. And the same goes for us today. Whatever it is you're carrying, whatever burden or worry has been weighing you down, God is calling you to cast it on Him. You don't have to carry it alone. God promises to sustain you, to give you peace, and to walk through the storm with you. I want to encourage you to keep praying, just like David did. Keep bringing your heart before God, even when it feels like nothing's changing. Your persistence matters. Trust that He is with you, He is listening, and He will deliver you in His perfect timing. It may not always look how you expect, but God's faithfulness is unshakable. Before you go, I'd love for you to take a moment and share this prayer with someone who needs it. Maybe someone in your life is struggling with the same worries and fears. By sharing this video, you're helping them find the same peace and hope that we've talked about today. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe for more prayers, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And most importantly, I want you to remember this. God is with you. He sees your struggles, and He will sustain you through it all. Keep trusting, keep praying, and keep holding on to the truth that He is faithful, always. Take care, and God bless.